Okay, here we go again. So, I've mentioned books, good books, bad books a lot in all the previous videos. So, people keep asking me about these, and I thought we'd do a quick video on books, reference books. That is, not biographies, personal stories, personal recollections. We need to split books into two categories. We mean reference books today. The sorts of things most of you will have if you have any interest in military history. You'll have books similar to, which would put these into three categories. So first of all, the sort of books that everybody will have, you'll have books like, generic, what I call BBC books. They want to appeal to everybody and include everything, but only a vague mention of everything. And they usually always have things like, like reenactors dressed up in, the sorts of things that they might have worn. But again, spotlessly clean, and it's a bit of a mediocre attempt, but there's lots of them. There's nice colour pictures, and everybody has books like this. I've only picked 3 from my library because there's bloody millions of them. And again, it's twinkle. It's a basically a picture book that you can flick through and go, oh, I want to buy one of those, and I want to buy one of these. Oh, and again, like typical sort of reenactor dressing up mannequin style things, because of course everybody wore just a shirt, a pistol belt. They're not any real good for taking any sort of information for reenacting and living history. And again, there's another generic BBC book. Wow, this one's so old. I've actually coloured this one in places. That must have been done a long time ago. And there's the kit layouts of different bits and pieces. No real in-depth information on anything. It will just simply say M94 paratrooper jump jacket. Note the insignia is 82nd. Well, geez, no shit, Sherlock. So those sorts of things you will see 10 a penny. They are everywhere. You can't help but falling over them. I'm sure people have bought you them for Christmas, birthdays. However, as nice as they are to flick through, you don't really get any real information from it. You'll get an odd mixture of pictures from everywhere. You don't know what battalion, you don't know what regiment they are, you don't know where they are half the time. So for us, there's no real purpose for the sort of reenacting living history information. From there, you come on to books which sort of start to delve into specific items. Now, you'll recognise this one straight away. It's the one everybody says is a good book. Now, this is a good book the same way McDonald's is enjoyable. Is it? Is it? Because, I like McDonald's, but it's not actually good. It's just easy, convenient, and, serves a purpose. And this book is sort of the same thing. It's a nice, it's a nice picture book, and that's all it is. It's a picture book. There's no real information about anything. There's no studies of why and what and when and who and why this stuff existed. I thought there was 2 whys there. But you can use it like the Argos catalogue without the end product of being able to purchase it all. It's been out of print for years. You'll struggle to get a copy, and when you get one, you'll wonder why you bothered. There's also a part 2 to it as well, which is exactly the same. It's just the contents is a little more varied. Would I recommend these for any reenactors living history? No. Definitely not. If you're already doing living history, you'll know what this stuff is. If you know what this stuff is, the book just contains pictures, and you can find those pictures online, and a damn sight more. So you might as well skip those completely, because they don't tell you anything about the items other than what they are. And if you know what they are, as I said, you might as well use Google. Now we sort of move on to specific books that are specifically based around one thing. Now this is really good for what we want. Let's go with this one first. So this is a book all about paratrooper helmets, and not just M1 helmets, but paratrooper variants. It's a Michel Detres book, or Michael Detres, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Fantastic. This is gold for what we do. This contains information about helmets, how you should paint them, what the net should look like, what the hessian should look like, how the A-frames attach, and all the other odd quirks that go along them. So hence all the tabs, because it gets marked and it gets referenced a lot. Gold dust for us. This is one of those books that if you do 101st and 82nd, at least somebody in your group should have a copy of this who is quite willing to flick through and find relevant information for you. And it really is absolutely jam-packed. So books that are on specific items are usually very, very good, because they're obviously written by somebody who has an interest in that specific subject, has some knowledge in that specific subject, who has found the information. There are books on specific items which are dog shit, but you can usually spot those a mile away. The reviews will be appalling. They'll be cheap as chips. Like a good book like that, I think it's 50 roughly quid. I don't even know if it's sold on Michel Detres's website, because it's not his own publishing company that's done that one. His publishing company is D-Day Publishing, and this is H&C. Is it Histoire and Collections, which I think is actually the same people that do that Fisher-Price book. Okay, I think you made a mistake there. You get other sort of, books on other specific items. I mean, this is a bit of a funny one because obviously we're not carrying these. It came up for sale on a Facebook group and somebody said, do you want this? I said yes, so he grabbed it for me. And it is very detailed. It goes into some amazing detail in the Colt 45s, the issue numbers and things, which may be useful, but not for this. Airborne specific books, you're generally looking at 2.5 authors really that pop up a lot. Gary Howard starts us off with American's Finest. There's American Finest 2. These are the lowest introductory books that are any sort of good for paratroopers. It goes through all the sort of kit you'd expect: your boots, your knives, uniforms, all the stuff. It's all in black and white, and it's the minimum standard entry book that will actually be useful. I wouldn't bother. You may as well, if you're going to try and find a copy of this, you may as well cash out and go for a Michel Detres book, and go for the Carentan ones are by far the best. If you buy both Carentan's books, you pretty much don't need to buy any other books ever again. They are that good. From America's Finest, the next thing you could look at is American Warriors. It's a similar book to America's Finest. It's a lot bigger. Some of the pictures inside are colour. Unfortunately, what really lets it down is the reenactor photographs bang in the centre. They're just a bit, well, I don't want to say shit, but that's sort of what springs to mind. I mean, they're really not good. And to come into the middle of all these books, you have to sort of scratch your head and go, why the hell do they use these pictures? I won't show them. I don't want to be mean. But again, if you're going to try and find a copy of that, you may as well jump up and buy Carentan. I'm sure that is available on Michel Detres's website. But for the price, no, you may as well just buy Carentan. The other author, Mark Bando, he's got a whole load of books out. I think most of them are on the same. Sorry, that shine's really annoying, isn't it? It's from the same publisher. If Michel Detres's books didn't exist, Bando's books would be the best. Unfortunately for him, Michel Detres's books do, and therefore he comes in a second place. Someone's got to be first, someone's got to be second. That's just the way it is. Now, what the Bando books do have, they have a lot more text and information into the places and the history. They read a bit matter of fact, sort of sterile in places, but the information's there, and for that they are very good. A lot of his books are out of print. He will not reprint them. Don't. It's a bugbear of mine, because getting books reprinted is a piece of piss. You can even get other people to do it for you who are willing, but he refuses. That's still available. It's okay. It's again, that's €49. The Carentan Part 1 is €49, and you can't even compare them. So if you're going to buy the Carentan books, you can pretty much rule out all of the Mark Bando books and not bother with them. I'll leave the Carentan books till last. The only three... Sorry, I'm not sure where I was going with that. The only three what? Detres has a few books. We'll have a look at his website quickly in a minute. This one is on offer at the moment. It's down from €55 to 29, so I don't know how long it's staying at 29, but I would grab a copy, especially if you're doing 80-second. It's full of some amazing 80-second pictures. They really are good, and it's a hefty book. I mean, that's 300 pages, and there is some amazing pictures, and there's so many you would have never have seen before. I think this has got some quite grisly pictures in it as well, and you just go, "Ooh, I've not seen that before." And it's sort of, it makes you sort of stop and go, "Okay, yep, yeah. There's lots of, okay, yeah, it is the book I'm thinking of." For $29, that's an absolute steal. It really is. Anybody into 80-second, you should grab a copy of that now. It really is that good. Now, for 101st Normandy, Carentan is even divided into two books because there's that much content. He cannot squeeze it into one. You've got before the jump and after the jump. It's that easy. I mean, you can see how many post-it notes and how many pages I've got marked. It looks like the edges have been shredded because it's that frayed. It is full, and I mean full of everything. Without this, or without someone in your group having a copy of this, you're playing dress up. This will steer you in the right direction on its own, and if it doesn't, then you're just not taking in any information that's being presented to you in it. It's gold. You need, or somebody in your group needs to have. Jesus, they are bloody heavy as well. And there's the post jump one. Bando's and Detres books, almost all of them have a Type 8 patch, either on the front or the spine. I think about 5 or 6 of them off the top of my head do. Both of those do, yeah. And again, that's one. I know his big green book does as well. I mean, it is a lovely looking patch, so I can't say I blame them. Let's have a quick look at his website. Let's shrink me down. I've already got it preloaded. I actually managed to do something right for a change. So, as I said, the Samara book is down €29. I mean, that's an absolute, for the content that's in that is an absolute steal. Carentan 1, Carentan 2, he was doing those on a deal at some point. What? Okay, well maybe he's not anymore. The website's very clunky and a bit, well, unloved, not finished. Yeah, it's not a great layout, and there's no real content. So why you've probably never seen this before is because it will never come up in any searches, because there's no SEO been done. There's no content behind anything. So if you search for these things, you're going to find these titles on every other website they've ever been posted on, and never find this one. So unless you know it's ddaypublishing.com, which who does, you're not going to have seen this before, or most of you won't have seen this before. Yeah, the Market Garden books are also very, very, very good. I have no real interest in Market Garden, but picked up both of these, and yeah, they are fantastic. One of these is absolutely huge. It's a giant chunk of wood almost. You know, it's massive. Lots on the 82nd, lots of random bits and pieces. Oh yeah, American Warriors, €45. No, by Town. Forget American Warriors. It's a sort of entry into buying serious books. I don't know why they're not in a deal anymore. And then a lot of these buttons along the top are a bit. Don't bother with it at the point of no return. It's skinny. There's no real content. Buy the Town books. You get some odd books. First Airborne Tactical Force. A lot of the stuff is just duplicated on different pages. Some of them are, yeah, like this one, completely blank. General. So okay, he does list it on this website. I don't know if you can order it through here though. No, it just shows you it. What a shame. So you have to hunt that one out, and it can go for crazy money, or it can go for fair money. It's just depends on where you find it. I found mine on Amazon, which should be a normal thing to find on there, and it was cheap. I bought 2 or 3 of them and sold the others on eBay. BD is blank. Blog is blank. So I mean, this is why you don't find this website, because there's nothing on it to come up in searches. There's no content to find. It's such a shame. What was the cricket book? See how can you go from $65-$50 for a book and then do one for $9? I remember why I haven't ever bought this now. And it's going to sound strange, because it comes with a reproduction cricket, which is going to be garbage, for the fact the book's $9. Now a good cricket is a tenner, made by Acme. So, Hudson. Yeah, it is Acme, isn't it? Hudson Whistles. It is. Am I going mad? Yeah. Yes, Acme. In Birmingham, Jewellery Quarter. Now, how can the book be $9 and a cricket be? If the cricket's any good, how can it possibly? The price doesn't make sense. So I've never bothered, because I don't want this piece of crap cricket. I know it sounds bizarre. I could just throw it in the bin. I know, but I'm obviously paying for this piece of rubbish in the price, and it just puts me off. It's 24 pages. I mean, I should buy it one day. I'm sure I will eventually. And then, so these are your reference books. This is to get the group to a standard, an authentic standard, without just wearing nonsense. You can think somebody will suggest, oh, didn't they all carry German weapons, or didn't they all use these at some point, or weren't loads of guys using German weapons? Go through the books. There are thousands of photographs in these books. They really are. Go through them. Have a look for yourself. Count how many German weapons you can see. Have a look what units are carrying. Look when they're carrying them, if you can even see them. And this is why they are gold dust. You can actually see and there's so many. It's not just those 2 pictures, and you're going to get a guy wearing a penguin costume and one guy wearing his M42s. So 50% of your members should wear penguin costumes, and the others should wear M42s. The ratio, there are so many guys that when you see a ratio, it's going to be fairly accurate, because the amount of guys that are in these pictures is huge. So when you see that one guy carrying a K98 and you see 4,000 others without one, well, there you go. There's a good ratio of how many K98s you should go and buy for your group. Other than the reference style books like these ones, you also get a lot of the biographies. There's loads by all the guys of the 506, of course, E Company. There are others from different units, but what they offer you is a real inside look into that one guy's thought process, memories and thoughts. Of course, memories and truth get twisted over time. I'm not saying this is done on purpose, it's just what happens. The way you remember something happening, the emotions you felt then are never going to be the same as you did 50, 60 years later. That's just impossible. So you have to take a lot of it with a pinch of salt. Now, I'm not saying they're lying. I'm not saying what they're saying isn't true. It's just that time distorts things. But it does give you a very good look into the thought process of individual members of all these different units. However, we're going down the route of, you want an overall look of everybody, not that one guy. If you go down the whole route of the one guy, you're going to have a bizarre impression. You're going to have weird things. It's just, you want to go with the average look. But you can get a lot of useful information from these biographies. You really can. Just pick and choose what you think is appropriate and applicable with the group mentality in mind. I'm trying to think of some of the good ones. I mean, I've got probably 20 on the shelf in the library. I didn't bring them through because I wasn't really going to mention them. I think we'll have to do another video on those at a later time if I want to delve down that rabbit hole, which probably isn't a good idea, to be honest. I would. They're great fun. They're great fun. No, they're great. A great source of information to read. Very enjoyable. I don't think they really tie into reenacting living history side of it, because it's all about that one person. And I think trying to copy your impression on a real person it's a dangerous thing to do unless you get it 100% accurate and authentic. If not, you're just probably going to get a battering from people for pretending to be somebody you're not, and dishonouring what they wore, who they are, and the unit they served. So I would avoid that if possible. I know some guys do impressions on certain soldiers, certain doctors, certain medics, certain, whoever. I think you've got to be careful. Just be wary that some people could easily take that the wrong way, and you're opening yourself up for a whole world of abuse that you can easily avoid. Yeah, I know it's a minefield. I never go down. I know I've based my impression off of some photographs of some soldiers who were the same rank, from the same unit. I've no idea who they are, and even if I knew their names, I don't think I'd ever I'd ever mention them. But again, this is my personal view on this. I mean, you guys can do whatever you want to do. Again, everything I'm saying, I'm not saying this is right, this is the best way, this is my way, and I almost said I force it on the group, but I don't force it on the group at all. And again, I quite often say to Sam, this is how I feel, and he goes, no, I disagree. And we don't come to blows over it. We normally talk it out in a sensible way. The worst thing is when I win and then it turns out to be a whole lot of shit and goes badly wrong, and then he goes, I told you so. But that's the way the group operates, and it's nice that we have that. Everybody can put their ideas into the pot. And yeah, we do get some stupid ideas, Max. But sorry, Max, it's just too easy. But it's nice that we have that ethos, that we can discuss everything. Nobody's, oh, we all knew. How dare you have an opinion on things? Because so many groups have this hierarchy of, the gods sit in the tower, the captains and the majors, and they belittle the people under them, and they say, you have to do this, you have to wear this, you have to do this. And there's just no reason for it. And when they suggest, oh, could we not do this in the group? How dare you suggest that sort of thing? There's no need for it. There really isn't any need for it. It's an enjoyable hobby for everybody. We're all human. Nobody's getting paid to dress up like this. This is not a military organisation. Okay, I'm starting to rant anyway. Right, I'm going to sign off, and whether that's interesting or informative or not, I have no idea. But I had a few questions on books, and I have all the books around. I thought I'd quickly give you an overview of what's good and what I consider to be a complete waste of time and money. So from this, if you're doing 101st, get the 2 current handbooks. You don't ever need to buy another book unless you're going to do Market Garden. If you're doing 82nd, the Sam Meriglees book or Michel Detres, they are absolutely superb. Obviously, doing 82nd, you're on a real win at the moment because it costs you €29. If you're doing 101st, then it's a bit more, but they are truly, truly fantastic books. Right, I'm signing off. Until next time, laters.